Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Hammer Time for the 11th of February 2014, bringing you 10 to 20 minutes of the day's news. For those of you who saw the first episode, you may have noticed some graphical changes and the BakerBox logo in the top left corner. This is because we now have an agreement with them sponsoring the channel in return for advertising their future work, so that's a really good thing for everyone who works with me. Let's go on with the news, shall we? In today's news, the flood could last longer than expected, turning commuting into cartoon fun, Morrissey calls Prince William a thickwit, Katy Perry has most followers on Twitter, Syrians allowed to escape thanks to ceasefire, and in the People Are Idiots segment, 10 miles of backwards driving and Iraqi terrorists blow themselves up. I'm going to start with a short continuation of yesterday's discussion about Eric Pickles, who has apologised to the people of Somerset, whose homes have been flooded, whose businesses have been irreparably damaged, and whose livestock have been sold too early due to lack of feed for them. Here's the funny part though, whenever anyone from the Conservative Party apologises to anyone, it's never because of errors, incompetence or gross negligence, because let's face it, when you grow up as privileged as someone like David Cameron, or in this case, who is being paid as much as Eric Pickles, is for being completely feckin' useless, how much do you genuinely care for people who are less well off than yourself? While this seems like a recurring issue, and a bit dragged out, it is an ongoing issue in this country. In an unfortunate twist of fate for those in the lower-seated regions of the United Kingdom, the flooding, thanks to the absolutely bonkers weather that we've been having over the last couple of days, is going to take months to clear away. Even areas like central London are not immune to this, as the Thames, for those of you who don't know what that is the central river in London. Seriously, watch Pointless. On average, about 12 out of every 100 people in this country don't even know that London is the capital. Has risen to its highest level in decades, even going so far as to burst its banks, flooding entire streets. The best part, this ain't over yet. Apparently, we're in for at least another week or so of this. As this affects the National Rail Service, I should let everyone listening know to check their travel stuff before actually travelling, as most of it will likely be affected by this. What do you do on the train to or from wherever you're going? Of course, assuming you can get a train in this weather. Read a newspaper? Play Angry Birds on your smartphone? Or perhaps you make your journey more interesting by drawing cartoon faces on post-it notes, then strategically placing them to fit onto somebody else's body, and take a picture of it. Nah, you don't, but on the other hand, Joe Butcher does, and I'm not going to lie, this is one of the most creative trot work. See what I did there? Nah, I suck. Self-named Jones from Birmingham has created a movie-like montage of his artwork, which has been viewed almost 1 million times on YouTube and has garnered him 73,000 Twitter followers. Genius! If you get the opportunity, go check out his Tumblr page called Text from Dog, which has been published as a book. In Seriously, a 2-page spread that is actually based on reporting about people with fake accounts on social networking sites, there's an article about people with fake accounts on social networking sites. Now I myself, being someone with a fake Facebook account, have an actual personal view on this kind of thing, and prefer to call it an alternative account. There are many reasons people make fake accounts, and I'm going to give you the number one reason why people do this. The majority of people have two sides. The side the world sees, and the side that almost has to remain hidden, as such to fit in with social and political norms. Some people are unsure of their sexuality, or have certain interests that don't necessarily mesh with their daily lives, or to follow interests that aren't necessarily viewed as socially acceptable. All of this, coupled with the fact that a lot more children suffer in silence from online bullying, make fake accounts as a form of escapism, where the person can talk to anyone they want to, as whoever they want to be, or specifically the person they wish they could be. Oh yeah, and Katy Perry has 50 million followers on Twitter or something, thankfully topping Bieber and less thankfully YouTube, which as the title suggests, is not damn near surprising enough. Possibly my absolute favourite story I'm ever going to report. Morrissey, former lead singer of the Smiths, has called Prince William a thickwit. Most people might think that originally he said thick shit, and it was then watered down to thickwit, but in all honesty, I grew up with his music, and I'm quite aware of some of his philosophies and views on, well, people. This comment didn't come out of nowhere. It was entirely based on the hypocrisy that the royal family represents, and here's how it goes. Prince Charles, William's father, made a video on the subject of saving rhinos and tigers, and yet not only the day before that, Wills had been on a boar and stag hunt. To quote Morrissey, William is too thickwit to realise animals such as tigers and rhinos are driven to near extinction only because people precisely like himself and his brother have shot them off the map, all in the name of sports and slaughter. And somewhere in there he threw in that he hoped the hunters' guns would backfire in their faces. While I don't wish harm upon anyone, from the sense of hypocrisy that spawned this entire thing, whether or not there will be repercussions from any of this is so far outside my realm of imagination. The United Nations brokered a truce between the UN's forces and the Red Crescent humanitarian group has allowed roughly 1,000 Syrian innocents to escape from the war-torn country. The ceasefire is hoped to continue in order to allow more evacuates and to deliver additional supports and supplies. More on this story as it develops. Sorry, I've been waiting for years to say that. In my first People Are Idiots segment, a surprisingly not reported to be drunk person had to be stopped by a police roadblock after driving for 16 kilometres or 10 miles the wrong way up a dual carriageway on the A14 towards Cambridge. This person clearly wasn't well, as after only perhaps 1 mile you noticed other cars going in the other general direction. And now for what might be the most dramatically ironic story I'll ever report. Iraqi militants, who let's just call terrorists because face it, that bomb was not for peacemaking reasons, were filming a propaganda video about suicide bombing when the car they had intelligently loaded with explosives blew up, killing 21, wounded a dozen, and the remaining 10 or so were arrested after the blast in Samarra near Baghdad, bringing literal meaning to the metaphor of playing with fire. In a little note I want to post here, the 2013 Poppy Appeal raised £413,665.80. Thanks to all who donated to that cause. Well, that's all the news I have for you today. Come back tomorrow for more. Comment, like, favourite and subscribe, and always, I'm open to suggestions on how to make my videos better.